Hi guys, if you are new here, I am Emily of wavyhaircare.com and this is Wavy Hair Care, my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to get into common mistakes that people make with wavy hair, and mistakes is going to be used a little bit loosely because some of this just comes down to preference. But if you are struggling with your hair and you're not sure what you're doing wrong, this is a great way to kind of check out some of the common mistakes that people make and see if any of these might apply to you and if they might help your problem. First is using an oil without using a leave-in conditioner or a cream. A lot of people just hear about hair oils early on. They see people using them on YouTube or wherever else at the end of their routine, and maybe they're just not interested in using a leave-in conditioner, but they think they still need to use an oil, or maybe they don't even know why they're doing it. But it's important to understand that the purpose of oils is to seal your hair, and so to seal like moisture into your hair, but they themselves don't offer moisture. And so if you are just using like shampoo and conditioner, and gel, unless your gel has moisturizing properties to it, then there's not really much purpose of putting oil on your hair. They're really meant to be used over top of a leave-in conditioner or a cream to help lock that moisture in. And also, if you're using them when you don't need to be using them, then they do kind of have some bad like side effects in my opinion, because they are designed to seal your hair. They can lead to a lot of buildup, and they just can be heavy a lot of the times on wavy hair. So I would only use them if you feel like you know that you benefit from it and if you are using a leave-in conditioner or a cream. Next up, this one is common with people who are like really new and maybe who are just kind of rushing the process a little bit, and they just like run to their local Walmart or Target or wherever they're choosing to shop at and look for products that say textured hair or curly hair on them, and that is buying or trying to use products that are too heavy for your hair type. Curly is a term that kind of means two different things. Sometimes it is used as an umbrella term to essentially mean anything but straight hair, so it just kind of means textured hair. Other times it is used to mean very tightly curly hair. And so you will find products that are marketed as being for curly hair that are great for wavy hair, and you will find products marketed for curly hair that are really designed for like type 4 afro type hair, and that hair texture is usually much drier and benefits from a lot more like oils and butters and things like that than wavy hair can tolerate. So if you're not familiar with a particular brand and you haven't done that much research, you might not necessarily be able to tell if the product or the brand in general is designed more for wavy hair, loosely curly hair, or if it is for tightly curly hair, like kinky coily hair. You want to be a little bit cautious because there's definitely a lot of products out there marketed for textured hair, especially curly hair, that are going to be a lot heavier than wavy hair can tolerate, and it's going to leave your hair over moisturized and kind of like greasy and weighed down. A big one that I see with people that are new with wavy hair, and I was guilty of this myself once upon a time, is trying to use products for hold that aren't really intended for hold. So a lot of times people grow up treating their hair like straight hair if they have wavy hair, especially more loosely wavy hair, and so they're just not familiar with using something like a gel or even mousse sometimes. And so they kind of want to avoid using gel because it feels kind of yicky to them in their head. It seems like it'll make their hair too crunchy or too stiff, or that their hair won't feel nice. So they attempt to avoid using gel by buying a leave-in conditioner, buying a curl cream, sea salt sprays. There's just all kinds of products out there other than gel or mousse that people try to use in the place of those to get hold, and that just generally isn't going to work very well. There are very few exceptions out there. There are like products that are marketed as like jellies or custards that sometimes have as much hold as a gel, but generally it's just, you're just not going to get the same results if you don't use a gel or a mousse. And even a lot of mousses don't necessarily have the same intensity of hold that a lot of gels have. And kind of on a brief note on that, if you are afraid of gel, look into Scrunch Out the Crunch, because your hair does not need to stay stiff or have that wet look. People used to call it like a ramen noodle hair. You can get rid of that by scrunching out the crunch, which is basically just squeezing your hair, and it'll break that cast and your hair will not look as wet anymore and it will feel softer. And also the exact type of gel or the exact type of mousse that you use can make a difference in the appearance and in the actual feel of your hair as well. I think we're up to mistake number 4. This one is not clarifying ever. And this one basically comes from the Curly Girl method itself. The Curly Girl method handbook teaches that you should be able to do a reset wash, which is using a clarifying shampoo when you start the Curly Girl method, and then you will never again need to use a sulfate containing shampoo. The vast majority of people, even those who generally follow the Curly Girl method, will still tell you that they find that they will periodically get buildup if they don't use a clarifying shampoo. And so if it's been a few months or more, maybe even just 1 month, and you haven't clarified your hair and you're finding yourself starting to have issues like frizz, or your curl clumps not staying very well aligned, or your hair just feeling heavy or over moisturized or looking over moisturized, being limp, things like that, that can be a sign that it's time to clarify. Number 5 is fixating too much on figuring out their curl pattern. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that, but a lot of times when people are new, they are like so desperate to have somebody tell them what their curl pattern is. Am I 2A? Am I 2B? Am I 2C? There's lots of reasons that people like that and want to know that. In my opinion, it's whatever. Like, if that makes you happy, no harm, no foul, in my opinion. But a lot of times people think that that is important information to have in order to figure out a routine that works for them. And that is really quite misguided, in my opinion. There are some differences between wavy and curly hair, very generally speaking. Like, I think even just in this video, I've said things like curly hair is usually drier and can tolerate more like heavier ingredients, oils and butters and things that wavy hair often cannot. And that is just a generalization. And there are other generalizations that work like that. But learning the difference between whether your hair is 1C or 2A or 2A versus 2B is not going to assist you very much, if at all. I don't really think at all, to be honest, with finding out what products work for you and what techniques work for you. When learning what works for you, it's going to be a mixture of trial and error and learning your hair porosity and your hair thickness, like your individual strand thickness, and to a smaller degree, your hair density. I put together a blog post a while back that goes over how to determine your hair type, and that is in reference to your individual strand thickness, your hair density, and your hair porosity. And then I also followed that up with another blog post about how to use those hair properties to gain some insight into what is likely to work for your hair type. I'll link those in the description box below. Another common misstep is focusing a ton on products and not enough on technique. A lot of people think that the answers to getting the exact appearance of their hair that they want is just going to be a matter of finding the perfect shampoo, the perfect conditioner, the perfect gel, what have you. I don't mean to suggest at all that products don't matter. I definitely think they do. I personally think that your styler is the biggest factor. I can get by with using a wide variety of shampoos and a fair range of conditioners as well, but not all gels work for me. Some gels are too heavy, some don't have enough hold, and so products matter. But a lot of people, they try a routine with products, and if they don't love the results, they think they need to go out and buy a whole new set of products, or even just one new product. And my experience has always been that technique matters more than products. And so I would really recommend paying very close attention to the details of your technique in terms of things like how long you are plopping for, whether you are styling upright or not, whether you are diffusing or air drying, how long you are scrunching your hair, the method that you are applying your gel with, Those kinds of things can make a significant difference in your results. And the bonus side of those is in learning those is that they're free. So if you're not certain that your products are the problem, I would try messing with your technique. It'll save you a lot of money and it will probably end up getting you better results too. Plopping for too long is a common mistake as well. When I first started reading about plopping, I read about people doing it for up to an hour. And then shortly after that, I read about people doing it overnight. And so I thought that plopping was something that you did for quite a long period of time. But I was getting bad results from that. But I now plop. I've always plopped pretty much, at least for several years now. But I plop for 10 to 15 minutes. Definitely consider plopping for a short period of time if you have lower density hair or higher porosity hair, maybe even just 5 minutes. But yeah, plopping too long can definitely cause problems. Last but not least is trying to scrunch out your cast before your hair is dry. This is a really easy one to do, especially if you're trying to do your hair before work or you just have somewhere to be and you're running a little late or whatever. You can be really motivated to want to scrunch out your hair as quickly as possible. But if you try scrunching out your hair before your hair is 100% dry, it can cause your hair to fall faster. Your style won't be maintained as well as it would if your cast had completely dried, and it can also introduce a lot more frizz. You've been at this for a while and have learned from some of your own mistakes. Drop a comment letting me know what some of the mistakes that you made were early on and what you learned from them or what you do differently now. I'll see you guys next time.